So it's interesting tie-in. So I saw the Morning Post this morning.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. And then this is kind of a living example of this. Like, stop comparing yourself and start looking around.
Yep.
And this is an interesting place because you've got so many different sections, and it's relevant to the topic today.
Mm-hmm.
So there's you show up with your little tents and sleep on the ground if you want to, or you go get the teepees if you want to, which are kind of little glamping tents, or you go to the luxury glamping section, or you go to the super luxury glamping section, or you go to the wagon wheel section, or you go to the super deluxe train car section, or you get to the cottages, or you get to the deluxe cottages, or you get to the superior cottages. And so, of course, every little section up and up and up changes across the way. And then you turn the corner, and then there's the airport, and one guy flies in with a plane, another guy flies in with another plane, another guy flies in with a nicer plane, right? And then people jump into their golf carts, and you have the little golf carts, and you have the big golf carts, and you have the lifted golf carts, and you have the Rolls Royce golf carts, and then you have the go to the marina where the airboats are, and you have the little airboats, and then you have the Corvette engine airboats, then you have the swamp buggies, and you have the Corvette engine swamp buggies, and then you have it's sick, right? And then you go to the RV section, and then there's the little rental RVs, and then there's the Prevost buses for $3 million a piece. So it's interesting. It's an interesting parallel, and just in one little microcosm that nobody even knew exist is all these different scenarios, life scenarios.
Well, and to that point, what I always find so intriguing, right? And I think it kind of is a good lead in for the discussion today, is where as individuals we put value in certain things that are intriguing to us that we want to do and have, and vice versa, right? So in other words, you have some people that say, you know what, I really like nice watches. And then you have someone like yourself that says, I love nice things, but I don't really wear a watch, right? So this brings zero value to you, but something else might, right? So in your metaphor, someone may say, you know what, I don't want to sleep in a tent, and I like sleeping in nice places, so I'm going to get the super luxury cabin. But when they go on that air buggy ride, they don't really care that it goes super fast and has a Corvette engine. That doesn't bring any value or interest to them. So they're fine with the normal one. But what's important about that situation is you got to find something that is intriguing to you, something that's going to drive you, something that is of value to you. And I think a lot of times we don't find that next level of things we are interested in. It's not about being interested in all of it. It's about finding something that's going to drive you, right? And it doesn't have to be a material thing. That was just the example, but the experience, it could be anything. It could be just something innate inside of you. And I have a clip that I want to play in a minute. It's just a couple minutes long. We'll only play a couple minutes of it. But I think when we look at, and it was kind of in the email I sent out last night, the discussion we really want to have today is how do we as individuals get to whatever our next level is, especially when you don't need to get there. And that's the challenging part, right? If you don't need something, you're not going to get it unless you have another reason to go get it, right? The desire has got to be there, because otherwise, the second that you hit a speed bump, you're going to stop. You're not actually committed to it. So how do you get committed to it? And I think when we look at what professional athletes, and I'm just a sports guy by nature, but when I think about professional athletes and what they're able to accomplish, I think they're the greatest example of this, right? Because these are people that have made significant amount of money. So it's not about like, oh, can I buy what these guys can buy whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. They can have whatever experience they want, right? So why would Michael Jordan put himself through what he put himself through, right? Why would he play when he had a flu that was literally like almost killing him in between timeouts, yet would still go back out on the floor between the whistles and play, right? Why would Tom Brady play until he's 45 years old? right? He could have stopped 7 years ago and still been considered probably the greatest of all time and certainly a Hall of Famer. So why? Why go through the beatings that they put themselves through? Because it's not for the money. It's not, it's that mindset of they have a bigger purpose, right? And I think that is just so intriguing, because if we can take that and apply it to what we do in our lives and that bigger purpose, and then understand that it's all relative, right? So if you're brand new to this business, your next level might be one deal. If you've been doing this for 15 years and you're used to doing 20 deals, 30 deals might be your next level, right? So it's all relative, but I think understanding why are we going to push ourselves to 30, and the importance of having that mindset is kind of what we want to discuss today.
And that's it. And it's reverse engineering at its finest, right? The biggest thing is, what is the lifestyle? Mom just wrote in, and it's about the experiences. You need to have experiences to figure out what you like and don't like, which is an important aspect of it. And I was grateful to have a lot of experiences through mom and dad, and figured out the stuff I like to see, things I didn't like to see, and I like to do more of what I do like, and I'm going to continue doing less of stuff I don't like, right? And that's just, but you don't know that until you do stuff, right? And you've got to keep trying. You got to keep pushing, because there's no other way, right? We had a chat on Friday, you and I, and Crystal, and it was, I was pissed off, right, in that conversation, or frustrated, I should say, is a better word, because I know what everybody's capable of, and I see you not doing it, and it pisses me off, right? It really does. It frustrates me, it makes me sad, and it pisses me off, right? For you, I'm doing what I'm talking about doing. I'm good, right? And I'm going to continue to keep doing what I'm doing, because I've got a clear vision and purpose of what I'm doing. But I want everybody else to do the same damn thing, right? But to your point today, some of you don't want it, and that's okay. But we got to stop pretending that we do, right? And then I don't want to accept that as an answer, because this market is not lasting. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but when you have a Fed that's probably going to bump up, half a point this next meeting, or they already said they're going to do 7 over the course of the next year. So I don't know if you need a little warning sign, but party's over, right? So, but it's still going on right now. So if you're not exhausting yourself at this moment in time, then all I could say is it's stupid, right? It's stupid not to capitalize on the opportunity of this market, the way it's colliding right now, with buyer demand, seller scarcity, and still low rates. Even though they're going up, they're still historically super low. It's cheap money. So what are you going to do? Wait for that to go away? You're going to wait for the buyers to not be buying? You're going to wait for rates to go up to the 5.5. So you're going to wait for houses to sit on the market for 6 months and then say, now I'm going to get into the business? Stupid, right? The next couple months, all of us can go make an extra couple $100,000. And think about that for a second. How lucky are we to be able to do that? But it reverse engineering, saying, do you really need to? And the answer is yes, you do, right? Not for airboats and stupid golf carts and stuff, but to be a responsible adult, right? To take advantage of a market that's phenomenal. To not be doing it is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, and it's frustrating, right? So what I'd like at the outcome is for you guys to say, okay, right? Okay, I'm going because I want X. And it doesn't matter what X is, right? It's X could be something this week, could be something this quarter, could be something next year, could be something in the future, but some next level of your lifestyle, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, financial, housing, carring, experiencing, travel, and yes, all of that, right? What is the next level in each one of these things? I mean, Chris does an amazing class when he goes through the Wheel of Life, the Tony Robbins event there, to figure out where do you want to focus on in the next level, because even if you think you're great, there's still a little bit more you can do in each little section, right? But it's about having that clarity of vision and purpose to push, to drive, to say, no, how I am right now is not acceptable to me, period, right? I might have to deal with it for a little bit, but it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. So I'm going to therefore make changes and make new things happen to give me more options for different experiences in life. Right. But it's got to get to that point where you just say enough is enough. Right? I know a lot of people had things they did that they shouldn't do, smoking, drinking, whatever it may be. And at one point in time, you stopped. right? Enough's enough.
Better decision.
Right? People say it's tough to quit smoking. I've never smoked, so I don't really know that one, but you just stop putting a cigarette in your mouth at some point in time, right?
Yep.
Ultimately, but the decision has to be strong enough and the commitment has to be strong enough to say, never again, I'm done. I will not live this way anymore. And that's it. I'm moving forward to a next level of my life, which is health in that example, right? But it took leverage. And whether it was a doctor or whether it was a loved one or it was pressure, it was something caused you to go to that next level of decision making. And that's what I think from today, I like to be that leverage point to get you to say enough's enough. I'm tired of not doing more stuff. I deserve more. And I'm going to capitalize and take advantage of this market the way we have it right now. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. It did back in June, I guess, but it's not going to get any better than this going forward. Just take it, milk every moment that you have of this.
Well, it's funny. So I'm going to play a clip here in a second that'll attest to this, but to me, and if you haven't done so, I highly, whether you're a sports fan or not, I highly encourage you guys, especially if you're trying to figure out how you get to your next level, go watch the Netflix documentary, The Last Dance, that documents Michael Jordan's 10-part series. It is the best documentary I've ever watched in my entire life, especially from a mindset perspective, and watch his evolution. And I'm going to play a clip from an interview that he did about it here in a second that I think just identifies, because part of the problem we always have is, what if you do get to that next level, right? You get committed to something, you stop smoking. Great. Now what? Right? What's next? Because there's got to be a next. There's got to be something that you got to continue to evolve. And as you'll hear from Michael Jordan here in a minute, he did it on a night by night basis, because it got to the point where he was already the greatest of all time. He had already won 6 world championships, right? So what was it? And he talks about how he got there. But my favorite thing, and this is in the clip, was in the documentary, they interview his college coach. And this is the best thing that I think set him in motion. And his college coach at UNC, when Jordan got there, his college coach said, "What do you want? What do you want to have happen?" And Michael Jordan said, "I want to be the greatest basketball player ever." He said, "Great. Well, you're going to have to work harder." And he said, "But I already work as hard as everyone else." He said, "Oh, excuse me. I thought you said you wanted to be the best player in the world. That means you have to work harder than them." And he said, "All right, I'll show you." And went on to become the greatest player in the world. But I think the mindset. So let me play this clip real quick, because I think this sets the tone to what it takes and what some of you, especially those watching, that have said, "You know what, Jeff, I'm already working hard. I'm already hitting some big goals. Great. But what's next?" And that is where it gets really, really tricky, I think. And this, I think this is a shining example. So let me play this. Let me know if you can hear the audio. I might have to switch my microphone, but let me play this. Can you hear it?
Yeah, very low though.
All right, hold on. Let me see. I might have to switch the audio real quick for my microphone to this. Let me try this. Is that better? Is that audio better?
It's still low. Like,
still low.
Just share audio. It's the same.
All right, hold on.
Share audio instead of video. There you go.
Let's see. Speaker. Let's try this again. Let's see. Any better?
To describe MJ, one word would be great. I would describe Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that worked. That worked.
Greatest of all time. I would never say I was cut through. I was a competitor. Cut through sounds like I'm a villain. I'm a competitor to a point where if you're my opponent, if I knock you down, I'm not picking you up. A good competitor always evaluates his opponent. and you understand for what he really is, but you never try to give him confidence. You try to take it at all times. And sometimes it's easier to take confidence as opposed to sometimes it's harder. But mentally, I got to find a way. And sometimes you have to trick yourself. Let's see if all that trash talking starts when it's 0-0 instead of 5-6 point lead. That's where it starts. You have to look inside yourself and find the different types of challenges from game to game. You know, I look at who I'm playing against and look at some of the things that now I can focus and pull out to get me ready for the game. That's how I got myself motivated, you know, but it wasn't the same every game. It was, you know, I had to trick myself. I had to, you know, more or less find a focus to go out and play at a certain level for whatever reason. Who were some of the guys you enjoyed?
You there?
The thing I love about that, the thing I love about that clip is legitimately he made stuff up. And when you watch the documentary, there's a whole piece on where he legitimately made up a story about somebody who was trash talking him. And he made the whole thing up, talked about it in a press conference, did the whole thing in a playoff game to get himself mentally there. And then
Let's try this. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good for you.
All right. Yeah. Legitimately made the whole thing up, made the whole story up. The guy was talking trash, did press conferences on it, the whole thing. After they beat him, he came out and said, actually, he never said any of that stuff about me. I just needed that to fuel me. So he would go to great lengths to make stuff up to get himself committed to beating them. Right. So if you're finding yourself hard to get committed to a cause, make it up, right? Whatever you need to do. And that's kind of the point of that I think he was making in that clip. Make it up, create it. Because if you know that that's what you need to dig deep and find that next level within yourself, make it up. If you have all your bills paid for, everything is done, kids' college, you're making plenty of money, all that, make it up. Tell yourself you don't. Right? So I think that's the next level. That's how you're going to help yourself hit something, a level that you've never hit before. I think there's a lot to learn from it.
Well, you got to make, yeah, for him, there wasn't enough surrounding him to push him, so he had to make it up. Right. So that's the point. I mean, at some point, who's gonna criticize him? Right? You're not doing well enough, and then he's beating everybody's ass around him. What's his coach is a better player than him? No, but his coach was an external motivator, but he needed some more internal intrinsic motivation, so he had to go do that because there was a next level for him. Right. Yep. So that's the point of figuring out what it truly is, like really truly what it is. And then I was thinking about this morning, that the old thinking was go make a few $100,000 a year and go buy cool stuff that makes you happy, right? Or gives you security or things, but that's not the way, right? The way is to create income that will purchase things that will continue to spit off income to support a lifestyle, right? You want the golden goose, you don't want the egg, right? That's the point. Like, what are you building towards? What is that? There's no stuff until you have something that pays for stuff, right? That takes discipline, and that takes patience, and that takes being the last popcorn kernel to your post this morning, if that's what it takes, right? But just doing the things that you have to do to say, this is what I want, and I'm willing to sacrifice for it. I mean, Michael Jordan didn't just become the greatest in a couple of seasons, right? Tom Brady didn't become the greatest of all time, probably a billionaire, right? In 2 years or 4 years or 8 years or 10 years, right? 20 something, decades, guys. I mean, we're in this for decades, guys. This is a long game. So getting a little bit better, stockpiling some cash, a couple $100,000 a year, 100 here or 50 here, that adds up. so you can actually buy some things. You guys, there's so many creative ways to buy things and depreciate things and leverage taxes and 1031 to grow a portfolio. What if you just had enough to at the end of this year to buy a crappy duplex, but you don't have a duplex? It's not a crappy duplex, it's a smart purchase, right? And what if that thing only spits out a couple grand? Great.
Yep.
Right? Awesome. Let it appreciate and enjoy your couple grand, and then keep making money, and then sell that one, 1031 that into a quadplex, and then it spits off a few $1,000, and then keep making money, get an extra down payment, roll that into something else, and another one or something else, whatever it is that's going to do that for you. But that's got to be the next level of thinking to fund a lifestyle. And I think we need to be a little bit more patient. That's why I really like that the post you did this morning is, just because that guy's got the airboat, he popped earlier. No big deal.
Yep.
Here's his coming. Chill out. What do you want? Forget about him or her, or forget about it. That's the message that I want this morning, is make sure that we align to a really higher purpose and a clarity of lifestyle, man, because life's too short to be living the way you don't want to. And nobody here's a slave. Right? It's been abolished for a very long time. So the only thing that's holding you away from where you should be is your mind. First, not knowing what it is you should be doing. Because guys, you know how to sell real estate. If you don't, that'll take you forward. Today, you know how to sell real estate. Go watch some Next Levels. Go talk to your manager. You be honest with yourself. You need to talk to people every day. You need to talk to 10, 20 people every day and ask them if they're thinking about selling their house or buying a house. If you're not doing that, you're not going to make it. Sorry. So, but that this isn't the point of this class today. You have to be talking to people, communicating every day, and generating inquiries for connections about real estate, whether it's flipping pancakes at your church, whether it's hanging out at a bar, whether it's going to a flea market, whether it's knocking on doors, whether it's sending out mailers, whether it's doing door hangers, doesn't matter, but you need to do something that brings in business. Posting on TikTok, getting somebody to comment or like and starts a conversation back and forth. Doesn't matter, right? You guys all know there's no excuse for not knowing how to go earn cash. Zero. Sorry, you're uncovered. It's over. Not one of you doesn't know what to do. Now, you may not feel comfortable doing it yet, but that's all just bullshit in your mind too, that we need to just uncover. You know what to do.
Well, and I think at the same time too, if be honest with yourself, be self-aware. And if you know that you're one of those people that has a hard time being accountable to yourself, be accountable to your clients, be accountable to your prospective clients, right? I know there's a reason that some people need a trainer for the gym and some people don't, right? I don't need one. I'm going to go train without one. But some people find it much easier where they know if someone's waiting for them, they're better at being accountable to that person. Well, let's translate that to real estate. If you truly believe that your friends and family and people out there that are about to do a real estate transaction are better in your hands than somebody else, don't you owe it to them to be there for them? Don't you owe it to them to represent them in that transaction? Right? Be accountable to them. Be accountable to those in your life that are in your sphere that may have to go through this with the wrong agent. You all know how many bad agents there are out there. There are a ton, right? You're running into them on a daily basis. And for every person that you don't spend time trying to talk to and make sure that they're on your team, that is someone that could end up in the hands of a bad agent. And if you don't want that to happen, then you owe it to them to be there, to prospect, to talk to them, to have conversations, to educate, to empower, to encourage them to make the right decision, which is to work with you. So if you're not going to be accountable to something for you, something in your life, if you've said, hey, you know what, I already can live the lifestyle I want, Jeff, I've made plenty of money in real estate, or I made plenty of money before the career, I just got into this. Why did you get into real estate then? You got into it with a reason. And if it wasn't the money and it wasn't the lifestyle, you got into it to help people or do something because you found that part intriguing, then go do that, commit to it. But you gotta find something. And you have to be self-aware in this process to understand what is it about you that's going to get you up in the morning, because it's different for all of us. The reason that Jeff gets up and works as hard, does he have to do it? No, but he does, right? Maybe he doesn't from your perspective, but I know him, and he wouldn't be able to sleep at night if he didn't push himself to the levels that he's pushing himself. And I'm the same way. I don't sleep well. If I feel like I left something on the table, I don't sleep well at night. I'm like, you know what? I let myself down, right? But that's different for every single person. So you have to figure out what makes you tick. And like Jordan did, he realized that, you know what? The greatest player in the world, I'm a billionaire, right? You just deal with Nike alone. I'm a billionaire. I don't need the money.
Yeah.
I'm already the greatest of all time. No question, right? And why am I going to get up today and go do this? And it was because he had this competitor mindset. And so he would literally make shit up. So you've got to figure that out for you.
That's right. And he's a bit of an anomaly, right? And
Yeah.
there are certain anomalies, but he's got the same parts and pieces everyone of us has, right? He just has the ability to pull that drive out. So what I want you guys to do, because what I'm going to do today is I committed to ending early because I got to get some breakfast and get rolling back. But I want to get a commitment for the end of this quarter, right? And that's coming. It's the end of March, end of this quarter. We've got plenty of time. You've got time to pull deals together from people you don't even know right now. You start this week. You find somebody who's thinking about selling a piece of property, a friend, family, coworker, church mate, whatever, somebody, right? You get them on the market. This week, you're going to get an extra $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, right? So go the baby steps. If you don't need the 10 grand to live on, good. Go stock it somewhere until it stacks up to make or have $100,000, and then we'll go buy something with 100 grand that's going to spit off some cash flow, right? So challenge yourself this week saying, now this isn't sandbagging. You know, you got a couple leads that are about to pop and you're good this week. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about starting from zero. Find somebody that you don't even know is going to come. Even if you have 3 listings coming this week, just the 4th, right? Start scratch and find somebody who you don't know and get them to do something this week. And then there's an extra 10 grand this month, right? And that's just one. And so that's the fun part. That's the luxury we have, guys. And I just want to remind everybody the luxury that we do have is the ability to pull that out.
Yep, sure do.
So that's it. So short, sweet, to the point today. And if it's help out those, please let the managers know, because we will help put some leverage on you. And it's either towards or away from whatever it is that fires you up will help. But we just got to get clear. That's the vision boards. It's the primary aim. That's all the stuff that we're doing. So keep on focused. I'm going to go zen out with a couple of whippoorwill birds and an armadillo that's in my front yard.
That's awesome. Go enjoy that. And if, like Jeff said, if we can help in any way, please let us know. We're here.
Well, thank you guys.
Go crush it, guys. See ya.